Hello, warriors against consensus reality, lovers of truth, wisdom, knowledge, real knowledge, the esoteric path, slayers of brain-dead, brainwashed gobshites, lovers of irreverence and sarcasm. It's a nice quiet morning. No mouthy bitches, no normie gobshites mindlessly bleating outside as they go for their little puffy morning run. I've often wondered what these normie gobshites actually talk about most of the time, but I don't actually want to know. The nature of reality, perhaps? I highly doubt it. Back when I was with my ex, and when I was being mentally and emotionally abused to the nth degree for 10 years, and we would happen upon these birthday get-togethers for various people that her friend's twin sister was involved with, and I would sort of sit in my corner, much like Aragorn did in The Prancing Pony, and just listen to what they said. And it's incredible. They spent the whole evening talking about their jobs and home improvements and the housing market and all this useless, mindless crap. And I was thanking my lucky stars that I am not one of them. For we are indeed living in a world where the propaganda machine known as mainstream media, being controlled and paid for by the very same vested interests who are hell-bent on destroying society, culture, life as we know it, and indeed even the planet, because they don't give a fuck about the environment. If they would, if they did, they wouldn't still be making billions from the coal industry and the related fuel industries, right? Oil wouldn't still be king. Considering when technology exists, real sustainable technology, not wind farms, alright, which is the biggest fucking waste of time, money and resources ever devised. Real, sustainable, renewable energy. We do have the technology to do it, but the vested interests dictate otherwise, right? So we're living in a world where the same sociopathic group of cunts who control everything are controlling the very vehicle of propaganda brainwashing that people tune into every evening, and the next day mindlessly parrot what they were told by the same main propaganda machine. It's like, let's demonize Russia for no reason other than Vladimir Putin made it very clear that the New World Order is not welcome in his country. That's what this is all about. Nothing to do with, quote-unquote, Russia invades the Ukraine. Right? We've heard this bullshit propaganda crap before. Perhaps some of you remember the propaganda machine going on about the heroic struggle of Britain in the Falkland Islands. I'm sorry, but Argentina is nowhere near England. So these people were actually fighting for their own land, because the so-called Falkland Islands, I forget what the name in the Spanish is now, actually belonged to Argentina, and Britain had no fucking say in what people did with their own land. Much like those dirty, stinking, disgusting, evil, greasy Turks did in towards the end of World War One, leading into 1922, with the Hellenic and indeed Armenian genocide, right? To the point where Hitler actually was inspired by Kemal Atatürk to do what he did. So that's the legacy of the Turks. The Nazi World War II death camps. How fucking proud are you? Are you Turks? Are you fucking proud? Are you feeling the pride right now? Right? But I digress. I came across a funny video. Forget what the guy's channel is, but if you want a good laugh, taking the piss out of modern women. That I think it's called Man Talks or Man Talks. I think. I think it's from Romania, somewhere like that. Quite hilarious. If you want a good laugh, that's the channel. And which got me thinking about the great brainwashing and the concerted destruction of the important bedrock foundation cornerstones of society and civilization. And thank you, humidity. I've got to turn my fan on. In the words of the critical drinker, fuck off, summer. But so of course, you know, with women, I mean, just wow is all I can say. When I say women, I mean the modern feminist, mouthy woman, right? Yeah, there are still some wonderful women out there. They are very, very few and far between. If you happen to find one, consider yourself extremely fortunate. But with feminism, you know, they spent the entire 1960s brainwashing women, taking them away from their traditional, natural places in the family and society structure, and try to make them, well, men. Right? And of course, women being easily brainwashed to begin with, it didn't take long for them to mindlessly bleat the same women empowerment and patriarchy. You always have to say it in the American female accent. The patriarchy and all this fucking bullshit. All this made up fake bullshit. Women were... And some of these cucked simping men all say, oh, well, yes, it's good that women were liberated. Oh, you mean liberated as a cornerstone of the family? The one member of the family who kept the household running efficiently? Really? Liberated? But they've allowed themselves to be... Well, first of all, they act and talk and dress and cut their hair like men now, right? So, which means they get treated like men now. But, my fuckers, they still want to keep perpetually bleat on about chivalry. See, that's the cherry picking, much like Abraham and Gobshites like to cherry pick the Bible, which I find fucking hilarious, because they miss out on the inconsistencies and the blatant bullshit in it. But anyway. Yeah, oh, by the way, I've lost another sub after my mentioning witchcraft in my last video. So let's make it clear. Any of you guys who came over, thanks to the generous shout out by that wonderful man Hammerhand, who actually think this is nothing but a MGTOW channel, and you happen to be good little mindless Abraham and Gobshites, now's the time to subscribe and let me get on with it. Okay? I'm sure there are plenty of channels to give you your daily fix of red pill rage, right? Certain channels which will begin like today, yeah, You know who I'm talking about. Those channels. Those channels are for you. Where you have 100% modern feminist sort of red pill rage videos all the fucking time. Okay? Where nothing of any depth is discussed. Those are the channels for you. Right? But I digress. And so, with feminism being a clear... I use it because it's a clear example of the concerted program of destroying, deconstructing culture, society, and destroying the all-important bedrock foundation of these things, thereby destroying any kind of unity amongst people, any kind of community spirit, and thereby making us easily pliable and controlled and good, quiet, passive little fucking gobshites plugged into the propaganda machine and just mindlessly, passively consuming. That's what they want. Letting them do whatever the fuck they want, letting them take away our freedoms, without a second thought, not only without any protest, but mindlessly, tenaciously, fanatically carrying out the dictates of the above-mentioned propaganda machine to begin with. These people we call Karens. Okay? And feminism is a clear example of this process by the same group of sociopaths. They don't care about women. You need to imagine me saying this in a Ricky Gervais kind of voice, right? They don't care about women. They don't care about black people. They don't care about their fucking environment. They don't care about certain kinds of abuse perpetuated on children, because considering they're the ones perpetuating it to begin with, right? They don't care about fake rape charges. They don't care about Me Too. That's just a way of destroying the unity between people, which is needed now more than ever, right? But anyway, I digress. I was watching this video and I was just listening to some of the mindless bleating from these angry, bitter, entitled, whoring modern women, and I was just shaking my head thinking, how the fuck, after all these thousands of years of development and culture and achievement, have we devolved to this? You need to imagine Theoden from the Lord of the Rings standing on the walls of Helm's Deep saying, "It's come to this," right? Yes, I know, I'm a real fucking Lord of the Rings fan, long before the silly Peter Jackson films, alright? Some of us remember the BBC radio editions of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Some of us remember the most brilliant Gollum on the face of the earth to ever have existed. His name was Peter Woodthorpe, okay? The Gollum that was said is not supposed to sound like a hairball, like a cat bringing up a hairball. It's supposed to be more a Gollum, right? He even explicitly describes the delivery of this phrase in the narrative. Sounds like a sort of swallowing phlegm kind of thing, right? Which Peter Woodthorpe totally nailed. He is the Gollum of all ages. Fuck Peter Andy Serkis, right? But I digress. For fuck's sake. Fuck off, Amazon. Yeah, you need to imagine the critical drinker. Fuck off, Amazon. Or in his case, he'd probably say, fuck off, Bezos. Right? But just the entitlement of these women. I use the term loosely because they do not act anything like women. And they want to use... They basically want to become whores. And they call that being empowered. But by sitting back, doing nothing, taking no accountability for themselves, or sense of responsibility for their words and actions. And they just sit back and let the guy take them out to dinner and pay for everything, and thereby perpetuating the myth of their evil, dreaded patriarchy, right? So you will excuse us who have disconnected from the mainstream propaganda machine for many years now, if we don't actually sit back and point it out and take the piss out of everything. For the sake of maybe helping someone think twice, thereby waking up to themselves and disconnecting, right? Which is why I detest this black pill idea, that these brain-dead evil nihilists who just want to sit back and watch everything burn and destroy. Well, you happen to be a member of the human race, and you belong in as part of this community of infinite awareness inhabiting meatbags. So yeah, whatever happens to everyone else happens to you, because we are all one when all is said and done, right? So what happens to someone else over here happens to you, because it's happened to your own nature. Alright? That's what people don't understand, which is fucking stupid. Yeah, and with this Russia-Ukraine thing, that's the reason. Because Vladimir Putin clearly said that he doesn't want the New World Order in his country. And that's why the propaganda machine has demonized Russia for many years now. Again. Right? Because they won't play the game. And rightly so. And good for them. And of course, now they've engineered World War One and World War Two. It had nothing to do with Ferdinand, what's his name, being assassinated in Sarajevo, wherever it was, back in the day. It had nothing to do with that, right? World War Two was manufactured also by the same group of sociopaths. If you do research, the material is there. And so it's happening yet again. So all I can say to you people is be reverent, take the piss, and wake up for yourself, for no other reason than you owe it to yourself. Oh, and by the way, there are so many of you guys who are so afraid of being called woman haters. Yeah, I hate women. I hate the modern whoring, mouthy cunt called the modern woman. Yes, I do. I hate them with a passion. I fucking do. They're not women. They're masculinized creatures who rely only on emotion. Right? There's no empathy there. There's no loving, nurturing, caring nature there anymore. They become these mouthy, these extremely bad versions of men. But add an overdose of bitchiness and way out of balance emotion. That's modern women. Do I hate them? Yes, I do. Because they're showing me how much they hate themselves. They hate their real, wonderful, beautiful, feminine nature, which is still in there somewhere, which they've suppressed, because they're too busy acting like men. But when they do it, it becomes out of balance. And presto, we have the mess that's called the modern woman today. Am I racist? Yeah. If that little fucking greasy cunt ever thinks he's going to reclaim the Ottoman Empire, I'll be there killing those assholes. Oh yeah. So there are too many of you so afraid running away from words. You fucking embrace it, you get right in its face. Right? For fuck's sake. And don't make me go through my rant of most mouthy, chip on the shoulder black Americans, okay? Don't make me go there again. I've done that how many times already. If someone takes themselves way too seriously like that, it's my job to take the piss out of them. That's just the way it is. Just call me the sarcastic Loki monk of the manosphere. I just think it's funny because I knew what was going to happen. The moment I mentioned witchcraft in my last video, I lost another sub. Yes, you mindless fuckers. This is not the channel for you. We actually delve into deeper aspects here, and I'm a proud heathen, a proud pagan, and I'm sticking up my two middle fingers right now. Okay? If you don't like that, unsubscribe and fuck off. I don't suffer fools gladly here. Because to speak the truth is a very fucking lonely path. The amused, sarcastic, heathen hammer-wielding lone wolf on guitar, out.